Well, recently I was brainstorming with a group of guys about what they wanted to see in their lives. And we talked about that and we felt it was important because so much of what our focus is sometimes is about stopping or ceasing certain things that we don't like. But I said to the guys, in fact, you can see this whole idea back in episode 35, where we talked about a magnetic recovery. We said, what is the magnet out in front of you which is pulling you towards this better life? What are those things you want in your life which makes all of the hassles and the discomfort of recovery worth it? And the guys began to list off some of these benefits. And the communicator in me loved it because almost all of them started with the letter C. So today we are going to talk about to see your recovery. Welcome aboard.
Ready?
When it comes to porn, are you stuck, spinning out, or slipping backwards in your life? If so, then welcome to the Finding Traction podcast, a show dedicated to those who are looking to gain recovery momentum away from porn and toward the life and relationships they have always hoped for. Now, here's your host, Vern Tomke.
Well, we are presently in the fall, kind of mid-September of 2024. If you're listening to this close to when I'm releasing it. And we've started two brand new groups. One group is for guys in their 20s, and I have room for maybe one or two more guys. If you're in your 20s and you're looking for a group of guys, or early 30s, it's a group that we walk through the Finding Traction course together. And the other group I have meets on Mondays. It's kind of our old hands or old farts group. We're in our, guys in their 50s and 60s. And I also have room for one or two more guys in that group as well. I'm kind of collecting guys for a third group. We're just going to call it Married with Children. I've got three guys that are waiting that I kind of have on the line in terms of wanting to start a group. So if you are somewhere and you've got kids, 30s, 40s, 50s even, and you're struggling with the challenges of raising kids and your recovery, some of those midlife issues, this group is for you. So I'd love it if you would consider joining our Finding Traction group. If you're interested in that, you can reach out to me at bandofbrothers.care@gmail.com. One other point is I'm beginning to transition guys or move guys over to my new Circle learning platform. Maybe, I have a few hundred guys on MailChimp, but I'm really inviting guys to come over to Circle. And what it is kind of a place where all of my resources are located. All of my podcasts are there. All of the free worksheets and free resources are there. Also, you can get more information about groups. It's a safe place. I encourage guys just to sign up with their first name and last initial. Like for me, it would be Vern T. It's a safe location. It's something that I'm excited about because guys can access the courses there as well. And it's just a great way of connecting. So it's a Circle platform. If you look at the show notes, you will see how to sign up for Circle. It's free. If you're on a mobile phone, of course, you'll need to first, download the Circle app, which means for all you really smart guys, you'll need to have somebody take off your screen time, right? As you add Circle, then put screen time back on. So those and that platform is there. I think I've got 70 guys that are on it already, and I'd love to see guys begin to access the materials and the resources there. So anyways, just a reminder for you. Okay, let's go back about to this idea of to see your recovery. And I have worked with a lot of guys around this idea of stopwatch recovery. And it's this whole cycle. I kind of took it from Patrick Carnes and I added my own language to it. Of course, they all started with the same letter to make it nice and consistent. But the very top one, 12 noon, is this word peace. Peace is when our life is feeling the way we want it to feel. And so I asked guys in this group recently, I said, tell me, let's describe the life that you want, or let's describe the last time you remember you had walked free and clear of porn for any period of time. Let's really unpackage that and get a feel for what that kind of life was like, or what that kind of life could be like, or you hope it could be like. And so some of the different words that the guys gave me, one guy said, you know what? I just like the fact that I feel like I'm in control. There's that out of control feeling. It's kind of like driving too fast on a road, too fast for road conditions, and you feel like you're going to crash. Maybe you have bad tires with poor traction. You're driving too fast for road conditions. One of the guys said, I just like the feeling. You know what? I like the feeling of being, I am in control of my life. I'm managing my life, not some outward force. So that was one description of that kind of life. Another guy said, I just like the idea of feeling calm. The word that we started with was peace. So for him, the word was calm. It's not this agitated place. It's calm. I always think of when I used to water ski when I was much younger. I used to slalom water ski, and I would hit these glassy, parts of the lake that, you're going around a corner. You're just whipping around a corner, and the top of the lake is just like glass, and it's just amazing. And it's calm as opposed to choppy seas. In fact, for you Bible readers, there's actually a Bible verse that talks about waves being stirred up like whitecaps. That feeling. We're looking for calm in our lives. Another guy said, I just feel centered when I'm in that place. He says, I feel like I am myself. When I end up going down these porn rabbit holes, when I end up being pulled into these places of fantasy and obsession, it's like I'm not even myself anymore. So for me to walk out my recovery is for me to truly be myself. So that's a great description of what that could look like. For example, here's another great C word: clarity. So many people have talked about the brain fog that comes after you look at porn. It's like the ripples. You've thrown this big boulder in this lake, and now you've got these ripples that just completely cloud your vision. Or it could be the brain fog, or the preoccupation where you're spending your whole time fighting that porn urge, or you're thinking or planning, I can't wait until the next time that I get the house to myself or I'm alone so I can look at porn. And so with the brain fog gone, it's clarity. It's the feeling of I can see clearly going forward. Here's another one that I like. The word connected. One of the guys says, when I am walking in this best version of myself, a recovered version of myself, I feel connected. I feel connected with the people around me. I mean, how many of us, when we were in the shame of porn or the preoccupation of porn, we didn't want anything to do with anybody else, even our friends. We isolated, we disconnected. This idea of I feel connected, or I feel connected with my wife. I feel like there's not this wall of secrecy between her and me. Or I feel connected with God. So many people have described the spiritual angst of feeling disconnected from God, for example. That would be another example of disconnected. You might even say at a personal level, you can feel similar back to that comment of feeling centered. You can feel disconnected from yourself. You know, what you want in your life, the values you have for your life. You're just disconnected. You're disintegrated. You're disintegrating in that way. So I think that's a great word, the word connected. Here's another one that I would say if there was one word, and when one of the guys used this word, it's like, yes, this is the one word that I would say sums up in an overarching sense why I love to see a recovered life for myself and other guys. And it is the C word, confident. You know, I just feel confident. I feel when I'm walking out my recovery and I'm experiencing the results of that, I feel confident. I feel like I have what it takes. When I am struggling with porn or have looked at porn, I feel like the smallest breeze could knock me over. I don't have any confidence in going forward. I don't have any confidence in all those different things that I put my hands to. So many people have described, for example, in their spiritual walk, they lose their confidence in God hearing their prayers, for example. Now, this is not a theological discussion here, but it's something worth saying, that when you feel like you're not confident that God will respond to your prayers, for example, those of you who, prayer is a big part of your life, you lose confidence in that area. Confidence is such a crucial area. In fact, one of the things that I've seen for guys who've begun to experience success in their recovery is they began to step into doing things that previously they did not have the confidence to do. One of the guys in a group recently shared, I'm not a leader, I'm not really a teacher, but I was asked to lead this small group of guys even for a night, and he says, yeah, I'm anxious about it, but I'm willing to do it. And that for me is a sign of growing confidence. I've had people say taking work steps or beginning to advocate for a raise or a promotion because they're going, you know what, for the first time, I am doing good work. I do bring value here. And I'm, worth being paid for my work, or I'm worth being recognized for that. But you have to have an internal confidence before you can walk out any sort of external confidence in your life. That kind of goes back, to the next one I would say is just being capable. Capable, it kind of follows this idea of I have what it takes. But because we no longer are caught up in the preoccupation of obsession, we actually can take time to begin to build the things in our lives that we need to be better at our jobs, better in our relationships. We can grow in our capability, in our skills. I mean, all of us have areas that we need to grow in, but now that we don't have this life on pause, the porn pause in our lives, we can grow in our capability as part of that. All right, just a couple more because I'm just on a roll here. I would say, and one of the guys had said this idea of contentment. I feel contented. I don't need to pursue things to make me feel whole. We know that if porn does anything in our lives, it breeds discontentment. We're not happy with our spouse. We're not happy in our relationships. We're not happy with our marriage. We have this unrealistic view of women. And we end up just being discontented people. It's one of the reasons why so many guys who struggle with porn describe their external demeanor as agitated. You know, if you meet somebody who's always complaining, always unhappy with people in the world around them, I can almost guarantee you they're probably most unhappy with themselves. They're unhappy with themselves. They're unhappy with who they are. They're unhappy with those things. They're discontented people. And as a result, they're just walking paper cuts. They're just discontented people. And I would say that being contented is one of those great results of just walking out our recovery. So I think I'm running out of C words here, but I just think at the end, I just say, I think it's all about completeness. We want to live lives of completeness. I was reading this morning in a Bible verse, and it talked about our lives becoming brighter and brighter instead of our lives becoming darker and darker. And I think that's a great metaphor. I want my life to become brighter. I want to feel complete. I want to feel like not only that I'm a good man, but that people are blessed because they've known me. They're in relationships with me. And I think that comes out of feeling complete, comes out of confidence, comes out of core security. And I think, if anything, one of the guys described porn as being a thief. It's a thief. It's a robber. It steals those things from, it steals from us all of those different things: the control, the clarity, the connection, the confidence, the calmness, the capabilities. It steals our contentment. And in that way, it robs from us. And so, yes, I think it's totally legitimate for us to want to be rid of porn. And I recognize there's always, if you go back to that early magnetic recovery podcast, there's always that old urge that wants to pull us back. But I hope that, if anything else, today's topic will help you dust off and put a powerful, strong magnet in front of you going forward that will push you towards that better life. Well, guys, it's great to be able to connect again. We're in the fall. I'm back to teaching a couple days a week. I got lots going on in my life, but it's still good to connect. Again, if you're interested in connecting with me, my email is bandofbrothers.care@gmail.com. If you're interested in one of those groups, whether it's young married, young guys or older guys, reach out to me as soon as possible. And again, love to get guys connected with that Circle learning platform. Check out the link on the show notes, and let's get guys moved over to Circle. I think you'll really find it beneficial. We'll see you next time.